The Imga, a mysterious, long-gone, forgotten race of beast folk that once inhabited the jungle province of Valenwood. Not much is known of them, nor have they ever actually appeared within an Elder Scrolls game. Yet today we will discuss who they were and the substantial impact they once had upon the fate of Tamriel. These great apes existed many years ago, in the First and Second Era, until their strange disappearance in year 582 of the Second Era. But that is a conversation for later in the video. The Imga were a beast race, also dubbed the Great Apes. They seem to be of lower intelligence than the standard beast races of Tamriel, such as Argonians and Khajiit. Due to this, they idolized the Altmer to an obsessive level. They believed them to be the superior race, while men and other beasts were on or below their level. This obsession of the Aldmeri led them to mimic them to an extreme level. They would wear similar clothes and cloaks, making sure to heavily perfume them. They acted as if they despised men, and held a corner of their heavily scented cloaks to their nose whenever around them, as though the scent of man was repulsive to them. This disdain of others caused them to be looked down upon and mocked by almost everyone. Other forms of mimicry included training with swords, attempting to speak eloquently, with perfect enunciation, although they struggled since they had gruff, deep, harsh voices. They also referred to themselves with landowner titles, such as Duke, Baron, or Earl. Perhaps the saddest thing the Imga would do was shave their coarse body hair and powder their skin to achieve a pale complexion. Unfortunately, they were not talented barbers, and often cut themselves, creating a pathetic image of a pale, hairless ape with cloudy crimson splotches peppered across their bodies. Despite the infatuation the Imga had for elven culture and civilization, their own could not be any more different. They were extremely agile and swung from one branch to another in the grot oaks of Valenwood. It was here they annually hunted calliope, a large rodent that inhabited these great trees. This form of living reminds me of the great apes that inhabit our own world, such as orangutans. The closest the Imga came to living in true settlements was when they inhabited abandoned human trading posts of the Roman Empire. There has never been a recorded history of a true Imga civilization. When they were not attempting to fit in the elven civilization, they were ceded to their tree-dwelling woodland tribes. While the Imga as a whole were mostly insignificant to the history of Tamriel, there was one who broke this mold. Early in the First Era, when Cyrodiil was still covered in dense jungle, resided an Imga who, unbeknownst to him, would change Tamriel. One night, Merak gazed up at the stars. He was on the verge of death, for reasons unknown. As his fading vision found the tower constellation, suddenly he was visited by a specter. This ghostly apparition belonged to the mighty Empress Alessia. She spoke to him, challenging the rule of elves across the land. He was moved by these words, and with nothing but his own blood, he wrote her lessons upon a scarp, forming what is called the 77 Inflexible Doctrines, which evolved into the Alessian Doctrines, a cruel culmination of laws. These laws still have an effect on Tamriel to this day, such as having to prove one's innocence and not one's guilt. He came to his senses and knew it was an illusion, but he believed if he obeyed these doctrines, it would allow him to live. So he spread his gospel, known as the Monkey Truth. He garnered a great monotheistic following, which began to adopt other gods as saints and spirits. Eventually, this Alessian order grew large enough to perform a military coup and took control of the Alessian Empire, forming a government that saw no reason to separate church and state. It is unknown if Merak lived to see the great success of the order he sparked, but it was truly built in his image. Merak was truly a unique Imga. He was known to despise elves and their beliefs. He had no reason to pretend to be noble. He had his beliefs, and he spread them the best he could. He did so well, in fact, there is a holiday celebrated for him every 9th of Second Seed, called Merak's Day. Unfortunately, the Imga did not stand the test of time. In 582, all of the Imga disappeared, within the jungles of Valenwood. They were fleeing war and pursued the great moving city of Felinesti. The city and the Imga disappeared, however. While the city reappeared many, many years later, the Imga did not. One must wonder where they are. Did they ever make it to the city, or did they go missing prior? Are they dead or lost? The answer to this question, perhaps, will never be known, yet we can hope. One day there may be a return of the Imga, but that is also said about the Dwemer. Will they emerge from the jungle? Will they stay missing forever, or will they just be forgotten and lost within the long tomes of history? Well, everybody, that wraps up everything that we really know about the Imga. They're a very, very obscure race. Not much history. The only real information you can find is in books scattered across the games. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and hopefully I will get more of these helpful lore videos out to you soon.